Welcome to SVG-TV's October 14th edition of the News and Sports. I'm KAHLIL, and here are the details. Major road work on the South Leeward Highway is expected to commence here early next year. Earlier today at the Sunset Shores Hotel, the Caribbean Development Bank funded South Leeward Highway Rehabilitation Upgrade Project Upgrade Project was launched. The project, which incorporates the road network from the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital in Kingstown to Layu, is estimated to cost some $44 million. Chief Engineer at the Ministry of Transport and Works, Brent Bailey, says the project is out to tender and they expect submissions by October 31st, with works to commence in January to be completed within 18 months. Commenting on the deteriorating conditions of the road network in the area over the years and numerous complaints received from residents and other persons, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transport and Works, Hudson Nedd, said that the government has achieved an important milestone, which now signals that they are ready to commence work on the project, which last appeared in the budget estimates in 2007. Nedd says, while the project has been long in coming, it is better now than never, and he foresees some challenges during the construction period, but as a ministry, they will deal with them head on.
There are numerous interest groups and stakeholders who are already looking for answers to their questions about how the impacts of this project, especially with respect to the closure of roads and diversion, how it's going to affect them and how we are going to mitigate against those impacts. I want to assure the general public and you, my friends who are here, that the ministry have taken these issues into consideration.
The PS appeals for stakeholders for the necessary cooperation during the construction phase.
We want to assure you that the ministry, in an effort to move towards realizing its mission, which includes, as far as possible, to make our critical infrastructure, make sure that it is maintained, it is well maintained at a more than satisfactory level, to facilitate economic development and to provide convenient and least cost access to and from the places of economic and social/recreational activities. We are standing firm to this mission.
A community liaison officer is expected to be appointed to ensure continued dialogue with communities which are expected to be affected during the construction phase. Meanwhile, it is hoped that this project will attract more tourism development, increased safety and efficiency on the road, and efficiency of road transportation in the area. This was stated by Acting Division Chief of the Economic Infrastructure Division at the Caribbean Development Bank, Andrew Dupigny, at today's launching ceremony. Dupigny says that the stakeholders have a responsibility to ensure the full benefits of the investments are achieved.
In addition, the project is also expected to facilitate growth in the catchment area and provide the platform for further commercial, tourism and agricultural development along the leeward coast. With improvement in the road, it is expected that visits to the heritage sites will increase and that the project will facilitate the continued expansion of resort development along the leeward coast. You as stakeholders have a shared responsibility to ensure that the full benefits of the proposed investment in the road sector are achieved.
And the challenge was sent out to the CDB to further assist the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to upgrade secondary roads in the country. Minister of Transport and Works Julian says the project will require between $50 and $60 million.
And if we start discussion now, I hope it's not going to take 5 years, because our timetables are set differently. And I would love to see some movement on this. If CDB is not the only area that we can possibly move with this, but I know that CDB has assisted some of our neighboring territories with such loans and grants to improve their secondary road network. And I would want us to move on this as quickly as possible.
Pointing out that it will require other lending agencies to come on board with the secondary road upgrade project, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said it can be done and that he is already seeking the funding. As it relates to the South Leeward Highway rehabilitation work, PM Gonsalves further appeals to motorists to be patient during the construction period.
Remember, when you're having a fried egg in the morning, you can't enjoy the egg unless you break it. You have to break the egg to make the omelette. You have to dig up things on the highway and widen it and strengthen the walls and put in proper drains. And that can't happen by pouring hot water on cocoa or coffee and have it instant. I know there's going to be a lot of dust. I know the traffic alteration is going to be terrible. But the Ministry of Works and the contractor, whoever wins this bid, would have to do their work properly and sensitively.
And in other news this evening, we hear that former Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Douglas Slater is now the new Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM, in charge of human development, and that should be in charge of human and social development. The new Secretary General, according to a media release, stated that with the Secretariat now deliberating on its work plan for the next year, he is intent to listen, read, engage and discuss with staff and the Secretary General areas that will be prioritized under his portfolio. Speaking to the issue of integration, according to the news release, Dr. Slater said he was a firm integrationist, and given this is the main goal of the Secretariat, he strongly supported all activities that would enhance regional integration. A medical doctor by profession, Dr. Slater also holds a Master's in Public Health from the University of the West Indies, Mona, in Jamaica, and a Bachelor's of Science degree in Natural Sciences from the University of the West Indies, KAHLIL, in Barbados. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has expressed distress with the Constitutional Court in the Dominican Republic for its recent ruling of denying citizenship to persons of Haitian descent born in that country. In a letter to President of the Dominican Republic dated October 11, 2013, Dr. Gonsalves described the ruling by the court as unacceptable in any civilized community. He stated it is an affront to all established international norms and elemental humanity, and threatens to make the Dominican Republic a pariah regionally and globally. Dr. Gonsalves told President Danilo Medina in the letter that the decision of the court is being widely interpreted internationally as being grounded in jaundiced anti-Haitian or even racist mindset, given the fact that most of the persons deprived of their citizenship by birth are black. He noted that it is thus incumbent on his government and the people of the Dominican Republic to stand from the court's decision and set about promptly and practically to make the requisite correctives in accordance with the government's international obligation. Dr. Gonsalves further called on the President to right the historical wrong committed against the compatriots of Haitian descent. Opposition leader Arnhim Eustace has expressed disappointment with the decline of persons graduating from theological studies in SVG. He was at the time addressing the 8th annual graduation ceremony of the SVG Institute of Theological Education, SVG-IT, in conjunction with the MIMS International Theological Seminary at the Hope for Life Ministries in Arnhim on Sunday, where 14 persons graduated. Kristen John Dean has more in this report.
At the 8th annual graduation ceremony, where 14 Vincentians were recognized for completing theological studies at the master's, bachelor's, and associate level, opposition leader Arnhim Eustace expressed his concerns with the decline in the number of persons who are pursuing studies in that area, and says the matter needs to be examined.
As I said, the vineyard is large. I therefore wish to congratulate all those who have successfully completed the program, and to encourage the administrators and those responsible for the development of the program to examine very carefully the reason for some decline in numbers.
Eustace noted that the role of the graduates is very critical for the development of SVG.
And for significant improvement in our society. And as one who is involved in politics and who have a lot of contact with people in their daily lives, in the various constituencies and so on in St. Vincent and Grenadines, I have a good picture of some of the needs that I believe you'll be able to help solve.
Meantime, Minister of Reconciliation Maxwell congratulated the 14 graduates, noting that they have done exceptionally well.
I recognize the fact that many of you have your jobs, your regular jobs, but you saw it fit to do courses in theology. Like one of the speakers before, we need to ask ourselves the question over and over again as Christian leaders, those who are graduating, how would my certificate and my ministry affect the church? The speaker before me said that if we go off on a tangent, if we adhere to a wrong doctrine, many shall follow.
Valedictorian for the Masters of Arts in Theological Studies went to former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Laura Brown. The graduation ceremony featured for the first time 6 graduates within the MINT Guidance and Counseling degree program. Kristen John Dean reporting for SVG-TV News.
Well, South River Road came alive today as activities continue at the Heritage Village, which was mounted over the weekend. The ECGC and St. Vincent Brewery-sponsored Heritage Village forms part of this country's 34th Independence celebrations and is being coordinated by the National Heritage Parade Committee. At the village today, there were a number of local products and craft on display. SVG-TV News spoke with some of the participants at the village who explained what they were showcasing.
Do I concentrate in terms of making bread from locally produced products? So we would have, for example, you have carrot pineapple muffins, and then you have the carrot pineapple bread, the banana nut bread, and this one, it's a savory, so it's a KAHLIL cheese loaf.
I have culture from my production and some other Rastafari brethren and sistering works. This stall is really set up as the Rastafari stall. We have the jewelry from myself. We have some t-shirt from a Rasta brethren, Brother Isaias. We have some sandals also from another brethren. And we have Ferrine from Sister Mel.
Playing African books and DVDs, a number of documentaries in terms of the DVDs, and all non-fictional and historical African books.
Meanwhile, the National Heritage Parade through the streets of Kingstown will take place tomorrow from 2 p.m. from the cruise ship terminal.